4-year-old. Start time 4:35 for the 8th. 1800 is the trip, and California Spangle second to Romantic Warrior in the Classic Mile. They both step up in trip for the first time, as does the Irishman and I'm a Single Man. Senor Toba missed a start on the 3rd of February. He had a lame left hind. Chiron Red Star has got the tongue tie going on. Rocket Spade, the 8, wears a crossover noseband. Garida steps up in trip 2 from the 1600 metres to the 1800. We've got Moneycatcher having his second go over the 1800 in Hong Kong and hit the shot with the blinkers coming off. Speed map time. Now, things will change a bit from the Classic Mile, certainly for Romantic Warrior here, Tom, because he had barrier 1 in the mile. He's got a much wider draw this week. And he's got the potential of being caught to 3 wide, maybe without some cover, but Sha Tin will be definitely looking for some cover with him, Romantic Warrior. California Spangle, though, should be able to lead. He showed a good turn of foot from barrier 13 last start, Paul. He's come up with barrier 6 to cross his stablemate I'm a Single Man, who was also handy last start. But the other horse that's likely to be there is Intrepid Winner.
Yeah, that's just a query with Intrepid Winner, because he did go forward last time. It didn't really work out. So we'll see what they do with him. Senor Toba should get himself into a nice position. Moneycatcher is another one that can go forward, and maybe he can get outside the I'm a Single Man if Intrepid Winner doesn't want to be there, because he's got barrier 8. So we'll see where he ends up, Moneycatcher. All right, so that's how the boys think that the speed map is going to pan out for the Classic Cup. Previous winners, though, Tom, there's some fine names amongst these. Yes, Healthy Happy it was a winner last season for Alexi Bedell and Frankie Law, of course, Golden 60 the year before. Bit of an upset with Mission Tycoon, so Frankie's won 2 of the last 3 editions. Singapore Sling there for Chad Schofield, and also Tony Millard, and of course the great horse Rapid Dragon, who we never got to see the best of. And some stats, Paul, including this is a race that you have said has produced some long-priced winners in the last 10 years. Yeah, look, the longest it has to be you, John Size. I remember him winning it at 125 to 1. Look, the other horses like Healthy Happy won last year at 24s as well. Zach Purden never won it before, but Rapid Dragon did win when he won the Triple Crown at 1.7. Well, with the fact that we've had some of those long-priced winners, Tom, if you had to pick one from outside the square, maybe not even in your top 4 at value, who would you have? I'm going to throw out Moneycatcher, because I thought his run last start was pretty good. He was formerly known as Jason Beltry in New Zealand, and look, he's run a pretty good race last start. On ratings, yes, he would have to certainly step up, but I think he should get a good enough run in transit, and up to 1,800 metres. I think that will certainly assist him again. What about you, Paul? I like I'm a Single Man. I think I'm a Single Man's going to get a really suck run just in behind his stablemate, and he's going to be there for a long period. He went quite well over the 1600. He's my Gingerbread Man, who did win a derby in Singapore. So there is a lot of staying on that side of the family anyway. Moneycatcher for Tom. I'm a Single Man for Paul. Romantic Warrior is where we start, though. Sha Tin did it in the Classic Mile. He partners again in the Classic Cup, and he had a chat via Zoom with Nick Child.
Karis, a big weekend coming up here in Hong Kong. It's the 4-year-old Classic Cup, and you will jump aboard your Classic Mile winner, Romantic Warrior. That was a massive win last time in the first leg.
Yes, Nick, of course, I'm very happy to be running him again and looking forward to running him on the weekend. He's a really progressing horse, and last time it was a very strong win from him. So things are looking good for now.
Just on his work since, Karis, how has he been since that mile win? I know you've got quite a bit to do with this horse.
He's actually going very well. I would say since his last run, he is definitely improved a lot, physically and mentally. He's progressing nicely. There's lots of positive things about him in the morning. His gross gallop was very good. Galloped him again this morning. He's feeling like he's ready to go. So, you know, it's going to be an interesting race for him, and just looking forward to running him.
What do you make of the trip, Karis? He's going up an extra furlong in distance. I mean, he was doing all his best work late last time. Do you feel the trip holds any sort of any question marks for him, or are you happy with the 18?
I think no problem for him, to be honest. Last time after I jumped off him, I said to Danny, even going the Derby trip, there's no problem for this horse. He's just such a relaxing horse. Nothing worry him, and he's got that strong turn of foot. Like you could see last time, he got hold up, but then once he got the clear run, he really responded well when I pressed the button. So that's the main key about him. And I think, you know, even stepping up over further where he can just follow slip behind the horses, but you know he will have that turn of foot to give you that last 200 meter.
It's a nice long run down the back straight, Karis, over the 1800 metres here at Sha Tin. Obviously, he has got an extra furlong to play with. What about the draw? Is that very much a negative, being drawn very much the other side of the field? You're in 13 compared to being inside in the mile.
Yeah, of course, you know, that's the only thing we have to now think about. And, you know, last time we had a sweet run from drone 1. So it's going to be a game changer from outside gate for him. But we're going to go through a race. Of course, I will speak to Danny to make a plan what we're going to do. Of course, it's going to be a bit tricky, but like you mentioned, it's a long back straight from that 1800. We got a bit of time to make a decision where we want to be. But also, I have to keep in mind that I can't overuse him, let him do what he wants to do so he can produce his powerful kick in the last 200 meter. So it's going to be a bit tricky, but, you know, I can, that long back straight will definitely help us to get a position.
There he is, Sha Tin, who rides Romantic Warrior. Going back to his last start here, Paul, and the sectional times for the Classic Mile, he was able to get past California Spangle, and he's not an easy horse to get by.
No, he did. He had the perfect run on the rail, didn't he? And he managed to get past him. Of course, California Spangle drew wide, Romantic Warrior drew 1. It's the other way around now, so that's a little query there.
You could see that California Spangle took the pace out of the race in that third section, 24-25, but Romantic Warrior had that good turn of foot to win the gap open to be able to pierce on through.
Some trial analysis now, Tom, and this is from Sha Tin recently. There's California Spangle where he likes to be. He led up in this trial. Money Catcher, who you've thrown out at some value, also appears in it. Turin Red Sun. His best run in Hong Kong was in the Classic Mile last time. We've also got Rocket Spade out wide. He gets back and runs on. The Irishman in the white and blue colours in Senor Toba. His trial was terrible, but it was way too short for what he's looking for.
Yeah, it wasn't an impressive trial at all from Senor Toba there, but California Spangle was good in front. The horse too was outside, of course, was able to win on Wednesday night, a strong Class 2 race, Majestic Star. Turin Red Sun, he has stayed on okay, as to his Money Catcher. We've got a little lukewarm Paul on Rocket Spade, and you can see the trial there from Senor Toba yourself.
Yeah, and look, the Irishman had a quiet one out the back as well and hit the line nicely. Of course, 1,200 metre trial. So, I mean, the thing with California Spangles, we know he's a top-class horse. It's just a query over the 1,800.
Tom did mention Senor Toba was up with the leaders by the time they got into the back, though, in that trial too. So the further they went, the better he did look. I'm a single man, Paul. This is one that you have thrown out. Did you like his trial up at Chung Fa?
Yeah, I did, actually. Look, the horse is going really well. I just think he's going to get the best run from barrier number 2. He's just going to be in behind the leaders. Look, he just had a nice quiet try. He was shaken up there and responded nicely enough. So, look, I think he's maybe a little bit of a smoke. He's well rated. And the run in the Classic Mile wasn't too bad. He did run 5th there.
It looked like his stablemate California Concord was going to go past him in the trial. What we don't see in this vision here is past the line. He actually goes a long way in front. He's still doing plenty of work after the line. We see a little bit of it here, but even right around the bend, he's done plenty of work there. So he's obviously fit and ready.
Back to the races we go now, Tom. Here is Senor Toba. This is a much better guide on him as opposed to that trial we just saw and hit the shot. He also comes out of this race. He's in those purple and yellow colours out wide.
Yeah, well, Senor Toba, he missed a run due to a lame left hind issue, so he's had 2 trials since this last start to run, and he needed every inch of the Sha Tin 2,000 metres to get there and run down enjoying. I probably don't think you can really big note on beating Enjoying because he hasn't exactly been a standout performer here in Hong Kong. And he keeps missing the start as well, Paul, so that's a problem for him.
Yeah, he looks a real doer horse, doesn't he? And the further the better for him. So, look, I just with that missing that run, it's just a little bit of a query for me coming into this race. I know he's come up quite short early.
Now, here's some track work too, Paul. He's alongside Nakoni County, who has trialled up rather impressively, even though he hasn't raced in Hong Kong yet.
No, he's a rating 67 horse, Nakoni County. So, look, he did what he had to do in this trial, and they hit the line nicely. So, no, not trial, it's a piece of work. So, it wasn't a bad piece of work for him.
And Tom, finally, here's Money Catcher again. This is on race day. He's in behind the leader here, and he's at 1,800 metres for the second time in this country.
Yeah, and he struck a bit of trouble here. Just to keep an eye on him, he's in behind the horse in the red and white there. He's going for an inside run. There is a gap there, and then he just sort of balks a couple of times and hits the rail and does a couple of things wrong. So he has been back to the trial, as we saw in the vision just a few moments ago, but I didn't think this was the worst of runs, Paul. He will have to find a little bit, but he's a promising horse, I think, in the making. Yeah,
he stayed on nice. He's another one that looks like an out-and-out star, doesn't he? He's just a rating 78 horse at the moment. You're sort of taking him on what rating he's going to get to, because he's up against 100-plus rated horses already.
He did run second in the Avondale Guineas over 2100 prior to arriving. We need some selections, Paul, and we start with yours.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Irishman, buy Tavistock out of his Zabeel mare. The 1800 is not going to be a problem for him. So he's on top, and he's gone really well in all 3 runs here in Hong Kong. He's drawn wide, but he gets back, so it's not going to be an inconvenience to him. I'm a single man. I think it's just going to be in the right place. And if California Spangle does try and stack them up a bit, I think it might help. I'm a single man just in behind. California Spangle, the thing with him is the 1800 metres. We know he's a class horse. It's just whether he can run out a strong 1800. And Romantic Warrior, just worried about the draw with him, so that's why he's only in there for 4th. 3, 4, 1 and 2.
It's hang tough for here with the Romantic Warrior, horse number 2, to go back-to-back in the first 2 legs of the 4-year-old Classic Series over California Spangle. I was a bit questioning his ability, maybe up to 1600 metres, but he saw it out, so I'll take a punt with him again here at California Spangle. The Irishman and Muddy Catcher there at a bigger price, so 2, 1, 3 and 10.